going on? Today's episode, I'll be talking about the glute ham raise, which is one of my favorite hamstring exercises, along with the regressions, progressions, and some variations to go along with it. So the glute ham raise is hands down one of the most butchered exercises in gym existence. You see a lot of people perform this lift in a suboptimal way where they're not really reaping the benefits out of the exercise. That's what today's episode is all about. I'll give you guys some cues, some technique tips on the glute ham raise. So let's get into it. Okay, so for starters, let's talk about the first regression of the GHR, which is the glute ham raise isometric hold with band assistance. So the band serves two purposes. One, it unloads some of our body weight so we're not as heavy, while simultaneously helping us cue that reach to get that posterior ribcage expansion. So we're trying to keep a stacked posture on this. We want our ribcage to be positioned over our pelvis, and we don't want to go into large amounts of extension. So I know it looks super simple on camera, but you'd be surprised with how many people can't do this properly. So you could do the banded version, band assistance, and do around how much time you could do, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever. Then eventually you go into no band like I'm doing in the video. Now you could see here that a lot of people will want to go into excessive amounts of extension, and they'll say if they're doing it well, they feel their hamstrings, but that's not the case. We want to promote more posterior ribcage expansion, like I'm saying, with the reach. We want to feel our hamstrings. We want to feel the least amount of erectors possible. So once you're done, once you've got the hang of the basic iso hold, you could add an iso hold with something like a medicine ball. This is something I got from Connor Harris. And then eventually you could get into variations with the reach where you can start adding range of motion. Now keep in mind that in the thumbnail, I showed you guys the glute ham raise machine, but I obviously don't have this at my disposal. I have the floor GHR, but this still gets the job done, and these tips still apply whether you have a floor GHR or the regular glute ham raise. So as you can see, I'm doing the regular GHR off the floor, and you may notice that my ankles aren't attached to the GHR attachment because I obviously don't have it. So I'm using another alternative, which is the ankle weights. These are around 20 pounds. So the progression after this is to drop the band and eventually just go into regular reps, as I'm doing right here. So I'm still getting the hang of these as well, and they may look very easy. A lot of people say that they could do regular glute ham raises, but they're using way more erectors than anything else. I feel mostly hamstrings when I execute these. And as far as making them harder, you could add a weight vest, but I'm a bigger advocate, at least for a progression number 6, to add some tempo work in there so you can get more control over the concentric part of the movement. And then maybe later on down the line you could start adding in a weight vest, but you have to make sure you're really feeling the right muscles, really feeling the hamstrings, nailing and dialing in the technique, and that's just about that. So as far as changing it up for your GHRs, you could do some pause work, you could do some tempo work. But as far as different variations are concerned, you're going to see that in a sec. The GHR razor curl. Pretty sure I got this from Ben Bruno. Don't quote me on that. But this is another way to train your hamstrings in a different fashion. Just different line of pull. And you notice that the band is pulling from the top as far as the assistance is concerned. But if you have a GHR in your commercial gym, you'll most likely have to loop it in back of the GHR or near where the legs are, near where you hang the ankles. So when you have the floor apparatus, you're going to have to hang it on a door or on your ceiling, whatever the case is. Now, as far as the mistakes are concerned, one of the biggest benefits of the GHR is the heel reference we have against the wall. This carries over quite well to gait. But if your heels are leaving the wall in every rep, kind of defeats the purpose. And also you don't feel your hamstrings as much. You're more likely to kick on some erectors. I also find, this is personal preference, when people kind of relax the top, it's kind of like the equivalent of doing a deadlift and you're resting 5-10 seconds on the floor. You're just relaxing. That's what rest periods are for. So I'm a bigger advocate of coming up to the top and not that repetition, but I want to keep tension on the hamstrings. So I'm going to keep it the whole time. I'm not going to lean back too much. And we also don't want to hyperextend like I mentioned before. All right, so that sums it up. That's the glute ham raise regressions, progressions, variations, along with some cues and technique. So I hope you got some value out of today's episode. Let me know in the comment section below, what does the glute ham raise play as far as roles in your program? Do you have any variations? Do you have at least iso holds? Do you use them for warm-ups? Do you cool down with them? Do you have them in the middle of your workout? How do you include the glute ham raise in your workout? Let me know. See you guys soon.